full speed punt versus punt returns, but the emphasis being the punting. We did a 3-on-3 combat zone compete. For what that means is it's kickoff cover versus kickoff return in a short area space, as if they've already covered the field. And then we worked our field goal unit versus our pride unit, which is our field goal block unit. So those were the 3 points of emphasis tonight.
It seems like, I guess, I don't know how he was tonight. The last 2 days, Alex has looked pretty good punting the ball. How much more comfortable do you think he is? I mean, just having a year of football under his belt, knowing situations, more stuff like that, now coming into year 2.
Well, I think he's a lot more confident than he was probably a year ago at this time. Everything a year ago was new to him. It was the first time he did all the things that he was going through. The first fall camp, the first game was his first game experience, and so on and so forth. Throughout the course of the year, that was the case. I think now that he's had a full year and a full off season, and the opportunity to train in the summer and then get himself ready for this fall camp, he's a very confident player right now, and that's translating into the way he's punting the ball. And I'm excited for him because I think we haven't really even scratched the surface of what he could potentially be. So I'm excited to watch his development.
All right, Chris Neal from Noles 247.
Hey, JP, 6 practices in and a scrimmage. How is that field goal kicker battle going between Parker and Ryan?
It's going kind of status quo right now. I mean, it's still pretty tight, pretty even. The thing about, the competition in general, the first 3 days were split practices. And, I took those evaluations into account, but I also have a little bit of an asterisk next to them because they're split practices, they had different snappers, they had different holders. So anytime you change some of those variables, it's not equal or fair evaluation. So most of my evaluations come off the last 3 days. The last 3 days have been really competitive and fairly even. And we're going to let this thing play out as long as it has to play out. If one guy takes the job, I'd be more than happy to name a guy. But that hasn't happened yet. So as long as they continue to battle it out, we'll keep that competition rolling.
Next would be Ira Schoffel from Warchant.
Hey, Coach. Just following up on that topic, when you look back at some of the misses from last year, I mean, it's not like, sometimes it was even shorter kicks. Was there a common thread for either one of them or both of them, or as you guys look back and evaluated some of the misses from last year?
When in terms of the year ago and the missed kicks, I don't think there was a common theme that all the missed field goals had in common. They were all more fundamental and technique based than they were ability. And it's just getting that confidence and the consistency and the routine. And I think that helps when you have one guy. That's the idea and the goal going into this year. And, we're going to let the competition battle out. But once it does, I like that guy to be the guy. But you know what? If it's not working, then we'll continue to always look at it. So, it's going to be an evolving competition as we move forward.
Next would be Aslan from Warchant.
Coach, obviously, it seems like you probably, hopefully, I would assume for you, have improved play at the defensive end position, at least with your ones. But with those guys behind them, the younger guys, whether it's Quayshawn or Derek McClendon, what are they able to provide right now? And I guess how would you sort of measure your satisfaction with their play so far?
I think the best thing about what we have going now from a defensive end perspective is a lot of those guys who played a year ago, 2 of which you mentioned, Quayshawn Fuller, Derek McClendon, Josh Griffiths. Those 3 guys played a lot as redshirt freshmen a year ago, or played some anyway. They've all made significant improvement. We have the 2 transfers that are older kids that came in the spring, and Jermaine and Pierre Thomas. And then we added Marcus Cushney here in the summer. So we've added a lot of experience, and those young guys have now grown and developed. So our depth at that spot should be much, much better. I've been excited about those 6 guys that I've named. I thought Patrick Payton was having an excellent camp. So I mean, I think the depth is going to be much better than it was a year ago in terms of the quality of the depth, and the competition is going to be pretty solid there. I like where we are. but we're only a weekend, so we got to keep grinding it out.
Next will be Andre Fernandez from Tallahassee Democrat.
Hey, Coach. Coach Norvell's been talking a lot about what Pierre Thomas has brought. Can you talk about just what you've seen out of him these first few practices in the scrimmage today, just how much of a boost he's been?
Well, Pierre brings a veteran presence to the meeting room and to the practice field. He's been around for a while. He comes from a good program, one of which I know a lot of the coaches that coached him before and have a lot of respect for him. He's a worker, he's a grinder, he knows what it takes to be successful. So without doing anything on the field, he's already a positive influence on everybody else in the room. But then on the field, he knows that this is his last go around, and he's making the most of it in terms of the effort, his investment into the meeting room and learning the defense, and then just the way he competes on the field. So just having that veteran leadership and that experience is a huge factor for that room.
Go back to Perry.
As far as players flashing on special teams, trying to earn a spot on that field, is there anybody specifically that you could name?
Well, I think as a program, our guys have done a tremendous job investing into what our culture of special teams is here. There's some guys that certainly flash, and there's so many. I almost feel bad like naming people, but I'll name a couple guys that really jumped out. Ja'Kai Douglas does everything we ask him to do all the time, the way that we need it done. Jarvis Brownlee is that way on special teams. Cam McDonald is that way on special teams. Wyatt Rector is that way on special teams. Trayshawn Ward is that way on special teams. I mean, as a program, the guys have really, really done a nice job investing into the fundamentals and technique. So it's a little unfair just to kind of pull some guys out, but those were the guys that came to mind first.
All right, last one. We'll go back to Ira.
When we've been out there practice, it seems like you've had a lot of different guys working as return specialists. Is that something you're going to narrow down pretty quickly, or is that something that might go on through the end of camp, figuring out who's going to be the main guys there?
I think we kind of know, but you're always looking to develop depth and get as many guys work as possible. I mean, we all lived through an experience last year that was unique, where every week you had to have great depth to your roster, and really we're going to be seeing some of the same challenges probably this year and going forward. So we want as many guys as we possibly can who have that skill set. So that's why you see so many guys back there, because it's never a bad thing to have depth on your roster. So we work a lot of guys on these special teams, but truthfully, every single guy in that first specialty period that you guys get to see every day is working either fundamentals or they're part of the return unit. So every guy that's a skilled player is going to be getting work, and it's going to make us better as a team overall.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Recording